is a movement afoot in the disciplines of mathematics and science that says, if it is beautiful, it is true. Albert Einstein once said, the only physical theories that we are willing to accept are the beautiful ones. Of course, scientists realize that beauty can sometimes be misleading, which is why biologist Thomas Huxley once said, science is organized common sense, where many a beautiful theory was killed by an ugly fact. You gotta love the fact that these things compete. Beauty as evidence of truth, ugly fact as killer of beauty. I mean, such words and arguments seem more fitting to religion than to science and mathematics. But they do point out that whether it is science or religion, humans are restless to know that which is true, whether it is beautiful or otherwise. Now, this is a true confession. I felt an urge to go to a Christian evangelical seminary 20 years ago because I believed that it would give me a way, a clear way, a definitive way to study beauty, truth, and the answers that so many around me seem to be absolutely sure of. After all, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. A second confession. I believe that exclusivity claim of Jesus with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind. And yet fully realize that while Jesus may be all truth, my Christian tradition is only one of more than 35,000 Christian traditions around the world. And while I prefer my tradition, it would be foolhardy, even arrogant, to claim it holds all the truths about God and the human experience. Which leads me to a third confession. I get deeply discouraged when evangelicals claim exclusive insights about truth over and sometimes, perhaps too oftentimes, against others, even Christians. For instance, some of the questions that clergy face that are fully impossible to fully understand, but get asked of me, are these. If God is loving, why did God create the idea of evil? Or, if God is just, then why do so many innocent people die in natural disasters? Of the billions of people who have lived since the beginning of time, who is in heaven and who is in hell? Now, I have listened to many an evangelical attempt to answer such questions and do so with unwavering certainty. But I can't help but think, amidst wild creativity and circular thinking, that they have eaten of the forbidden fruit of knowledge they so vehemently preach against. It was pointed out to me by my clergy colleagues that there is a unique pressure on evangelicals amongst themselves to have all the answers. Just recently, Dan, that's a burden you carry, maybe alone, maybe not. And I realized that evangelical burden is further heightened by what Time magazine essayist Michael Grunwald described as life in the second age of reason. It was this Time magazine that featured this conversation. And Grunwald's essay put forward the compelling argument that the average 21st century person is living in the golden age of answers. Of course, the downside of having unlimited access to information and answers is that when people don't like a certain answer, they simply move on to a different source, making the pursuit of truth slippery on all accounts. And in this regard, it is not only evangelicals who are on a slippery path looking for answers and ultimate truth. It is also scientists, philosophers, and a whole host of disciplines. So what to do? After all, and I'm sorry, I'm going to show some stress, friends. I'm going to show some stress. We are expected to have all the answers. Clergy are expected to be resident scholars, compassionate caregivers, cultural gurus, world-class communicators, exceptional nonprofit fundraisers, extraordinary managers, and visionary leaders, all wrapped in one. It's just too much. It's just too much. I mean, don't you have to do that? I mean, yeah, maybe? No, okay. Well, I found some hope to reflect on, and it was one Christian thinker who helped me in this burden of truth. He said, I came out of seminary thinking my job was to have an answer for every question. What I've learned since then is that not knowing and often not even needing to know, is a deeper way of knowing and a deeper form of compassion. Maybe that is why Jesus seemed to praise faith even more than love. Maybe that is why St. John of the Cross called faith luminous darkness. It is a refusal to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and finding freedom, grace, and comfort in the not needing to know, which ironically opens us up to much deeper consciousness that we would call the mind of God. To me, this is a beautiful way to be a Christ follower who seeks to love God with everything that I am and my neighbor as myself. In accepting the limitations of human knowledge and the helpfulness of exploring diverse theological opinion, I am freed to journey with others toward wisdom and truth without fear, even in the golden age of answers. And so I want to thank you, clergy friends, for your relationships and for realizing I may carry a burden of truth more than some. Thank you for extending friendship and collegiality such that we can learn together regardless of our differences. I'm grateful for the friendship, the wisdom, and the way you think about truth. It helps me, it heals me, and it pushes me forward. Thank you.